So today I'm going to show you the best way to solve this problem in LeetCode. It says longest substring without repeating characters. So basically, when you have a substring like this and you count A, B, C, and you find A here, it means that we have a repeating character, and then it means that the longest so far is this. And then we can now start from B this time and count B, C, A and find another B, and the longest repeating character is B, C, A. And then we can start from C and find C again, we have this, and in that way. Now, if we do it this way, it means that we are going to have several iterations. So the first iteration is going to start from this one and scan through the whole string. And the second iteration, we're going to start from the second character and scan the whole string. And that's more or less like a kind of sliding window approach, but it's also brute force. So we are going to use the proper sliding window approach. So we're going to be using sliding window approach. So some call it shifting window or moving window. So how does it work? So you are going to set two pointers, the left pointer and the right pointer. So basically, the left pointer is going to start from 0, and the right pointer is going to start from 0. So at the first time, you want to check the substring between left and right, which is 0, 0. And you're going to check if you found it before. If you found it before, you simply remove the original one. So in this case, A, have we found A before? No. So we are going to move next. We go to B. Have we found B before? No. So we are going to move next, and in this case, we are going to be keeping track of the length of the string as we go. So in this case, we have 2. In this case, we have 3. So if we have a higher number, in this case it's 3, we update some result set we have, or some result value. So start from 0, 1, 2. And if we come here, we have A, and have we seen it before? Yes. So it means that we're going to take it out from here and move our pointer. The left pointer comes here, and then we continue. And in this case, we see now BCA is a different string, but we have all these items now. We've seen them. So we've seen A before. We also have BCA. The length of this string is 3, so A is not greater than the maximum we've seen before. So the idea is to maintain the length of the substring so far, maintain 2 pointers, and simply have a set or a hash table or a hash set that you are going to use to remember items you've seen along the line. I think it's going to be more interesting if we write it out in code, and let's see how it looks like in code. So let me write the code at this time. So the first thing we want to do is to initialize something like a set. So let me call it D for dictionary, but it's actually a set. And we need a left and a right pointer. So the left pointer is going to be set to 0. So it's going to be set to 0. And we also need the count of the current number of the current string with the maximum substring. So for now, this count, let's call it count, is equal to 0 for now because we've not started. So I'm now going to start here. The second pointer is now the right pointer is going to move from 0 to the end of the string. So from 0 to the length of the string. And we are going to now check that while the current item, and the current item is the item at index right. So it's going to be item at index right. So item at the right index means that the current item, which is item at index, we found it before, if it's in D. Remember that we are not going to remove, we are not going to, actually I'm going to put a comment, we are not going to remove that item because it's there, it's there, but we are not going to remove it. We are going to remove the original item that was there. So basically, we are going to remove this item here, item at index left. That's the first item which we are sure is there. So here we are simply doing a check. Okay, so that item is at index left, so I'm going to just remove it. I think I can say d.remove and specify the item, which is s left. Okay, so this is what we have, and then we are going to increment our left pointer plus is equal to 1. Now, regardless, we are going to increase the right pointer, and of course, this for loop is already increasing the right pointer. So what we are going to do now, before we go to the next iteration, we are going to simply check if the current substring, the length of that current substring is greater than the count we have here. So the current substring here is running from index left to right plus 1, right? In Python, we have to say plus 1 because the last index is not inclusive, so we're going to use plus 1. So it's going to take from left to right. So I'm going to check if the length of this item, actually we are going to check the length of this array. So we are going to check the length of the substring from index left to right plus 1. So if this length, if this length is greater than the count, then we are going to replace it. Actually, we are simply going to do it in one line by saying that count will be replaced by the max of the count. And actually, we don't even need to do this line. We are simply going to just use left, actually right plus 1 minus left. So if right plus 1 minus left. So of course you can just say right minus 1 plus left. Right plus left minus 1. Okay, perfect. I think we should be done at this point. So we will now simply return the count, because what they want us to do is to return the count of the items, right? So this is basically it. So we are returning the count, which is not the string itself, but the actual count of the number of characters in the string. So let's go ahead to run the code and let's see. So I'm going to start by, let me just cross check, right? And let's try to remove life. Okay, great. So I'm going to run it now and let's see what we have. And we have a problem. Sorry, I made a mistake. So we're actually going to add the item to the set at this point before we actually increase. So I'm going to say d.add. We are now going to add the item, so it's going to be s, right? Okay, so we are going to add it to the set. Okay, so I'm going to run the code now and let's see what we have. And you can see that it worked at this point. So let's go ahead to submit and let's see. So I'm going to submit and hopefully this time it's going to work. And you can see it worked perfectly. Status is accepted here. Runtime is 60 milliseconds faster than 81.64% of Python 3 online submissions. So I'd like to thank you for viewing. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if this has been informative for you. If you have some challenges you would like me to crack, please leave it for me in the comment box below. So we see you in the next part.